Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chiefs Studios, and my name is Taylor Bell. I welcome you to another week. I can't believe the NFL season is it's flying along here. I think we're headed into week 15. Chiefs are coming off of a tough loss. I didn't catch most of the game live. I did watch the replay, however, and a very tough game. I'm sure, as all of you know by now, all you Chiefs fans and basically NFL fans should know how the game played out in the Kadarius Toney offsides on a potential game-winning touchdown drive. Did not turn out well. Now, Kadarius Toney. Look, there's a reason why New York let him go. There's a reason why New York traded him to the Chiefs. There's a reason why they were willing to let a potential, he was first round talent, walk. Well, not walk, but get something in return, right? Get him off the team. And it's so frustrating. This is a microcosm. This is it encapsulates all of what 2023 season has been so far. Comes down to the wide receivers. That's going to be the defining theme to this season. These wide receivers are not only making physical errors, meaning not catching the ball, they're making mental errors, lining up offsides. We saw recently in 2 of the last 3 weeks, wide receivers literally cost you the game, a W. So if Marquez Valdez-Scantling catches that bomb that he dropped going into the end zone, that would have been a win, potentially, right? There were still a few seconds left on the clock, so anything could happen potentially, but theoretically, I'm sure it was like over 95% chance of winning. And then you have Kadarius Toney lining up offsides on the Travis Kelce catch and then throwing it back to him for the touchdown. Lateral to the touchdown. Not to mention week 1 embarrassment where they dropped a league high, 10 balls. Even if you catch half of those, you win the game. So there's 3 wins, and just scattered throughout the season, right? You can go back to the Miami game in Germany where they basically did nothing offensively for the whole second half and just barely hung on for the win. I mean, look, there's numerous times that I can think where this wide receiving core, if not cost you the game, might potentially cost you a trip to the Super Bowl because the defense is there, right? Best defense Mahomes has had in, I guess, ever. Offensive line, pretty good. Running game, pretty good. I wish they would use that more. Quarterback, you got the best in the game. And the wide receivers are by far, weak link of this team. Look, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but this is a perfect example of what we have been, at least I have been saying all season, in regards to this team. With the receiving core they currently have, I still believe and stand on that it'll be an early exit in the playoffs. I think either, if not round 1, definitely round 2. And the conference championship, look, could they make it? Possibly. Could they win it? I don't believe so. Win a Super Bowl? No. I think there's a 0% chance they win a Super Bowl this year. Going up against San Francisco, you're going to get slaughtered. So it just basically encapsulates the whole season. Now, getting back to the Kadarius Toney offsides. When I was watching the replay, It appeared to me he was lining up offsides on multiple plays. Now, the refs did not call it, right? I think all through I counted three other times where he lined up offsides all throughout the game. Now, what's interesting is that the refs did not call the offsides. Look, I'm not against the call. If he lined up offsides, he lined up offsides. I'm not saying what an egregious call. If you uh, create a penalty, you need to be penalized. I'm not against the call. I'm actually against Kadarius Toney and his uh mental lapse, right? All throughout the game, especially on that play. It's his fault, right? It's not the ref's fault. You cannot blame the refs. You gotta blame the player. He lined up off sides. The flag was thrown, but he lined up offsides multiple times all game. But in the refs never called it, right? It was just called on this last play. Now, another interesting thing that I noticed is that um, he never checks with the refs. It's pretty. You know, I've wondered sometimes every now and then when you're watching a game, you'll see the same receiver. Usually, it's the one closest to the sideline on either side, because there are refs, line judges on both sides. On both sides of the field, right in the line of path where the ball is, line of scrimmage. You'll always see the receiver point to the ref, right? Or he'll point this way. The ref will be like, "You're good, you're good." Just give him a head shake. Rarely do you see a ref shake his head no, right, or do this motion. I don't think I've ever seen that really, but always you see a wide receiver point to the ref right next to him to make sure he's lined up and he's good to go. Kadarius Toney, I went back and watched because I already knew the outcome, so I wanted to watch the whole rest of the game to get a good mind frame of what's going on and kind of watch things a little closer. Kadarius Toney never once pointed to the ref to ask if he was lined up properly. So if he would have done that, the play would have stood and touchdown, and you get a win. So it's these mental lapses. Now I'm going to do this for those of y'all that did not watch or did not see, which I'm sure. Look, it's probably very few, but there may be one or two, and I'm going to show the all 22. Now I'm going to upload this to YouTube, so if you don't see it, it's because I cut it out of the final cut because I don't want to get flagged for copyright infringement because NFL is super strict. But let's take a look at this play real quick. I got an all 22, so it's not a CBS broadcast. It's the non-broadcast version. If those of y'all that have not seen all 22, it's really cool. So let's see here. Okay. Let me pull this up on the stream. All right, y'all ready? So here we go. This is the play before. Now, look how this wide receiver, look, his foot is on the 50-yard line. The line of scrimmage is actually the 50-yard line and 3/4, right? Actually, I think yes, that's correct. Actually, the line was just right about here, not to the 50, not to the 49-yard line. Probably about 50 and 3/4, right? Right here, right where the ball is, right? Look at this wide receiver. His foot's on the 50. Look at Kelsey. He's behind on the opposite 49-yard line. On Kansas City's 49-yard line. And look how far Toney is. Staring at the ball, never once points to the ref. Actually, this wide receiver never points to the ref either. Now that I think of it. None of them do. But look where his foot is. His head is past the ball. What the hell are you doing? Like, it doesn't appear to you that you should back up a little bit? like he's looking over at the ball and his head is farther past the ball than, I mean, he's damn near in the defense. Look, I think this player right here is pointing to him, saying, "Yo, he's he's offsides." So you got a Buffalo defensive player pointing at him. This player looking. So let's see what happens. Right, watch. I think this was a designed play. Throws the ball back to Tony. Tony runs in for a touchdown. And that was with what, about a minute left or so? Is this I think this is the play from the back camera. So you'll see Tony right here. Damn, let me go back. Nice pass. Throws it back. Touchdown. Called back. So these are the mental mistakes you absolutely. Those are the mental mistakes you absolutely cannot have if you're a professional athlete, right? These are unexcusable mental lapses that you should have down in grade school, right? Pee wee football and YMCA football. These are fundamentals you learn that you cannot make if you're a professional football player. Now, I know Mahomes blew up on the sideline. He came out yesterday and apologized. I'm not really shocked, or I really don't have an opinion on that. Look, he's pretty calm, cool, and collected, basically on his whole career, except this one instance last or a few days ago. So I'll give him a pass. Look, I mean, it is what it is. He blew up, and I'm sure he won't do it again. But it's obviously frustrating. He should be mad at Kadarius Toney and not the ref. However, and I think this mistake by Kadarius Toney will see him on another team next season. I really, really think the wide receiving core is going to look vastly different next year. If it's clear to us as fans what the issue is with this team, the Coach Reed and the GM have got to be just rolling their eyes. Brett Veach is all the blame's on his shoulders. I know Andy Reid has a large say, a lot of input on who the players are on this team, or at least who to get and go after. But drastically different wide receiving core next year. Going into this year, you rolled the dice. You hoped some young players would step up, and that has not been the case. Cannot afford to waste Mahomes' another year in Mahomes' career. You have a once in a lifetime opportunity to get the, I guess, perfect quarterback you could ever dream of, and having this group of guys to throw to is not acceptable. So I would expect them to look. I don't think Chris Jones is going to be on the team next year, so that'll give you a ton of cap space to go and get some good veteran wide receiving elite talent out there in the NFL. So that's my take on the Chiefs game. Chiefs lose to the Buffalo Bills. Now, next week, I believe we play the Patriots. Now, that was scheduled for a Monday night game. The NFL did flex that out of Monday night. Thank God. Nobody wants to watch the Patriots, although we will because we're Chiefs fans. But look, Chiefs aren't doing that great offensively, so they're not as exciting as they were in the past. And the Patriots are basically unwatchable. So that will be Sunday afternoon. Let's see. Actually, let's go to, before we get into that, Let's go to week 14 recap. Let's see some of the other games that happened. Let's see. NFL. You had the Texans losing big to the Jets. Now, I checked the score at halftime and it was 0-0 at halftime. So I was like, oh my God. And CJ Stroud got knocked out of the game. Concussion, head hit the back of the turf. Now, I don't know his prognosis on potentially playing this next week. We will have to wait and see. When we record on Friday, I will definitely get you the injury status and see where he's at. Today is an off day for the players, so I'm sure when he gets back in the building tomorrow, and then Thursday they'll figure out where if he's going to play or not, or at least put him on the injury report. I'm sure he'll be on the injury report. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to play. Patriots did beat the Steelers though on Thursday night. Pretty surprising. The Ravens beat the Rams in overtime. The Saints beat the Panthers. No big surprise there. Bengals, my God. The quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, the backup quarterback, is playing out of his mind. What is this dude's name? I want to give him a shout out. I mean, he's been Jake Browning. Now, this game, pretty decent stat line. He's got 2 TDs, 1 INT. Pretty efficient. 18 of 24 for 275. Now, his last week's game, I think he had like a perfect QB rating. I mean, just slinging the ball all over the field. Now, we'll have to see how long this lasts because I don't know if a new star is going to be born because, for one thing, you got Joe Burrow, but it does increase his trade value if you're Cincinnati. However, these defenses, they don't know, right? They don't have a lot to go off of. They don't have a lot of film on him. Most of his film is from college. So I think it will take, look, there's only 3 or 4 games left anyways. So he'll probably finish the season strong. But I bet once these NFL defensive coordinators get some film on him, his stats won't look that good, but he's been playing very, very well. Been very impressed with him. Really, really good guy, seems like, too. So I'm glad to see him doing well. So the Bengals did get the win over the Colts, which is big for the Texans because the Colts are in the same division, AFC South. Playoffs are ramping up. The Browns beat the Jags, another AFC South team. Good for the Texans. The Bears beat the Lions, surprisingly. The 49ers basically demolished the Seahawks. It wasn't even that close of a game, 28-16. It was a blowout for most of the game. 49ers are the best team in the NFL. Vikings beat the Raiders 3-0.